Psychological flexibility is when we have the ability to adapt to difficult experiences while remaining true to our values. Acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, focuses heavily on this skill due to its many benefits. These include better resilience, emotional tolerance, and overall well-being. In today's video, I'm going to outline the 5 core features of psychological flexibility and how you can use them to better cope with everyday challenges and stress of life. If you're new here, hello. My name is Ramsey Dean, and I'm a licensed therapist, and I make mental health education videos. If you want to learn practical ways to enhance your mental health, then subscribe to this channel and keep on watching. Now let's get started. Before I dive into the 5 core features of psychological flexibility, I want to quickly present a fictitious scenario to help you contextualize this information and understand how it can apply to real life. Anna, a 30-year-old woman struggling with social anxiety, desperately wants to connect with others but often avoids social situations. When invited to a friend's birthday party, she becomes overwhelmed and chooses to avoid it, suppressing her anxious thoughts. She fully believes these thoughts and focuses on protecting herself from judgment or embarrassment. However, this avoidance keeps her isolated and reinforces her belief that she can't overcome her social anxiety. Anna's situation illustrates psychological inflexibility. Now let's explore how the 5 core features of psychological flexibility can help Anna break free from this pattern. The first core feature of psychological flexibility is acceptance. Psychological flexibility has this expression: what you resist tends to persist, meaning that the more we try to avoid our inner experience, the stronger that experience is going to get. It's a natural tendency for us to try and push away unpleasant emotions, but in doing that, we're often just making them more intense. You can see this in Anna's situation. Her number 1 priority is to try and avoid and suppress her anxious thoughts and feelings of discomfort. That's the whole reason why she skips the party, right? Practicing acceptance would be Anna noticing her anxious thoughts and physical sensations, but choosing not to fight or suppress them. Instead, Anna could just acknowledge them as normal reactions to her anxiety. I'm going to give you an easy exercise that can help you practice acceptance. Next time you're feeling anxious, angry, or any other unpleasant emotion, instead of trying to push that emotion away, I want you to spend some time just noticing it and exploring how it feels in your body. Do you feel tightness in your chest, a pit in your stomach? Do your hands feel clammy? Do you feel like your heart is racing? It might feel counterintuitive to focus on an unpleasant feeling, but you might be surprised. A lot of times the act of resistance of unpleasant emotions causes more pain and suffering than the actual emotion itself. The second core feature of psychological flexibility is detachment from your thoughts, and in the clinical world, we call this cognitive defusion. It's easy to be consumed by our thoughts, especially if we see them as always true. But thoughts are often distorted interpretations that reflect our fears and insecurities more than reality. If you're interested in learning more about distorted thoughts, then check out my video from last week where I do a deeper dive into this topic. Cognitive defusion is all about putting distance between yourself and your thoughts as opposed to just accepting them as reality. Sometimes I'll tell my clients that we can't control whether or not we have a thought, but we can control whether or not we buy a thought. Let's talk about Anna for a minute. In her situation, she likely bought into thoughts such as, "Everyone will judge me," and "I'll embarrass myself." This led to her feeling more anxious and uncomfortable and ultimately resulted in her skipping the party. If Anna were practicing defusion, she would acknowledge her thoughts as just that, a thought. Nothing more, nothing less, rather than an objective truth. If you want to try practicing defusion, one exercise you can do is called leaves on a stream. This is where you spend some time closing your eyes and you imagine a stream. And every time a thought pops into your head, instead of engaging with it, you simply place the thought onto a leaf and watch it drift away down the stream. Every time you're able to do this, congratulations, you just practiced detaching from your thoughts. There are some really great videos on YouTube that actually narrate step-by-step the leaves on a stream exercise in a guided meditation format that I will link in the description box down below for you to check out. The third core feature of psychological flexibility is present-focused perspective. So this is all about living in the now, not in the past or future. Your entire life takes place in the present moment. You can't turn back time or fast forward to the future. All you have is this current moment. And honestly, with a lot of mental health conditions, so much of the pain people experience is from ruminating about the past and worrying about the future. And in that, we miss out on life and everything that's happening right now. For example, with Anna, she became so preoccupied with her anxious thoughts, with dwelling on her past social failures and worrying excessively about how she's going to perform socially at the birthday party, that she's not living at all in the moment. She's completely robbed of her present experience. It's a lot harder to go down the rabbit hole of negative thoughts if we stay connected in the present moment. Anna can't do anything to control how she's going to perform at the party that's 3 hours from now, right? She also can't do anything to undo that time she embarrassed herself 3 years ago at work when she spilled her coffee in a meeting. But when we obsess over the past and the future in this way, we trick ourselves into thinking that we have some magic power and that we can intellectualize our way out of these situations, and it's simply not true. The next time you find yourself lost in thought, I want you to try noticing 2 things in your immediate environment that you can see, hear, and smell. By bringing our attention to our environment and the here and now, it can help us to stay present, not in the past and not in the future. The 4th feature of psychological flexibility is values clarification. Now, in my opinion, I think this is one of the most important, if not the most important feature of psychological flexibility, and acceptance and commitment therapy places a huge emphasis on this. Values clarification is where you very intentionally spend some time asking yourself, what is most important to me in this life? Is it achievement? Is it family? Is it confidence? Is it humor? Is it leadership? Is it self-respect? Is it time? Figuring out what is most important to us in life and then narrowing that down is helpful, because then we can use those values as a compass to guide our decision making. So in the case of Anna, if she spent some time clarifying her values and figuring out what was important to her, she might realize, hey, social connection is very important to me. It's something I place a high value on in life. I want to have meaningful connections, strong friendships, and strong relationships with my family. Then, when she's feeling anxious and when she's wanting to engage in avoidance behaviors and skip the party, now she has a strong why that she can use as motivation to go to the party, even if it might be difficult. The why behind skipping the party is easy, right? I feel crappy and I don't want to go. That's an easy why. Clarifying your values so that you can have a different why can help us to make difficult decisions and give us the push we need to do things that might be uncomfortable in the moment, but ultimately lead us to live a more fulfilling life. If you want to work on values clarification but don't know where to start, I'll include a link down below to a worksheet that lists 100 core values. Usually, I suggest people start by highlighting any of the ones that resonate with you, which is probably going to be a lot. And then from there, try to narrow it down to just 5 and then down to your top 2. When you first do this, it's probably going to feel really difficult, and that's totally normal. But the bottom line is we don't have enough mental bandwidth to truly live our life according to 10, 20, 30 core values. We have to figure out truly what is most important to us so we can spend our time living a life that aligns accordingly. And this leads me right into the 5th and final core feature of psychological flexibility, which is committed action. And this is really where the rubber meets the road. So with Anna, this would be committing to making a different decision than her anxiety is telling her to, and going to the party because she is a person that values social connection and she's making a choice to engage in that behavior that aligns with that core value. Now, when you're using the other 4 core features of psychological flexibility, it's a lot easier to engage in committed action because you have a solid foundation underneath you. In the example of Anna, she's accepted that she is anxious. She's noticed the feelings and sensations in her body. She's not engaging with her unhelpful thoughts. She is staying in the present moment. So she's not going down the rabbit hole of ruminating about yesterday or worrying about the future. She has her values clearly defined and functioning as her foundation and her rock for the way she wants to live her life. And with all of that laying the groundwork, Anna can now engage in committed action. She can commit to making decisions that are going to get her closer to a life that embodies her core value of social connection. So there you have it. That's the 5 core features of psychological flexibility. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of all this and which core feature resonated with you the most. I'd love to start a discussion with you and get your thoughts and feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to learn more about how you can improve your mental health, then check out this video I'll put up on the screen for you next. Take care, and I hope to see you back here very soon. Bye-bye.